very different, but still within the same world. But just how, you have a Native American character and you have a bartender and you got your union guys and you got your cowboy. They all have like their own style of dress, but really upped it a notch with the coloring.
It's a sci-fi Western.
Sci-fi Western. Good one.
Yeah, it is just fantastic. I loved rereading this. It does make my brain hurt though. I have to say, like, there's a lot going on here.
There's a lot of connections I'm sure I'm making that aren't real.
Yeah.
That aren't deliberate, and then I find out will be different later.
Yeah. Great stuff. Good stuff. I really like this book. I like looking at it. I might like looking at it more than I like reading it. All right, James, did we find your next favorite comic?
Not quite my next favorite. I gotta say, last week we really killed it with
my favorite thing is Monsters.
My favorite thing is Monsters. But, actually it didn't update from last week.
We know that's number one.
We know that's number one. This one is coming in at so I guess it'd be 6.
Oh, so crack the top 10. That's cool.
It cracked the top 10. It should be right behind Manifest Destiny, right ahead of Thor, the God Butcher. So very solid. Not as high up as The Dying and the Dead, but Jonathan Hickman's gonna make your top 10 every time if you're me.
Yeah, he's great, and this book looks awesome, and yeah, right on. This is so fun. This was a cool book. I love westerns, and then like to put a sci-fi. Oh yeah. So yeah, where's this gonna land in the oneies? Is it a western? Is it sci-fi?
Yeah, I think I'd put it as a western though.
Yeah, I think it's gonna go in the western. All right, how about next week?
What do you got down the chute for us, Larry?
Well, we're gonna put in a couple more before we get to the end of the before we get to the oneies. We got to put in a couple more superheroes.
All right.
And I thought, how about the most superhero of all the superheroes?
Punisher. Oh, I don't know why I said that.
Superman.
Superman, of course.
All right, so this one's going to cost you $1 something on Comixology, right, because it's a DC book and they haven't jumped on the Unlimited yet.
Come on, Jeff Bezos, buy him out.
This is All-Star Superman #1, and it is written by Grant Morrison with art by Frank Quitley. And if you remember that combination, they were.
Yeah, I remember Grant Morrison. Grant Morrison did
Grant Morrison
Mind Management.
No, that's not Mind Management. Grant Morrison did with Frank Quitley. Last year we read Flex Mantello.
Oh, that's right.
So you'll recognize this artist, and the big overall, it's just Superman at its very basic, and it's wonderful.
Sweet.
All right, so everybody come back next week, and thanks for being here this week, and this has been Seattle's #1 comic book podcast, episode 91. Thank you for being here. Thank you very much.
Oh, thank you very much.
That's a good one.
Oh, thanks.
Yep. Oh, hey, and please leave us a review on iTunes or Stitcher or SoundCloud, or where else can you find us, James?
I use Podbay.
Spreaker. There's also Spreaker.
Score.
Podbay. Open Podbay doors, Hal.
Yeah, I don't know if you can do comments through it, but it's like a podcast collector amalgam.
Yeah. Well, try it anyway.
Anyway.
All right. Thanks, James. We'll see you next week.
All right. See you next week, Larry.
Bye.